So again, I'm Anne Williams-Dias, Director Technology for the ICF Mumbai chapter. On behalf of the entire management committee, a heartfelt welcome to today's special event, Beyond 10, Engaging from the Heart. Today, we have participants joining us from across the country today. And as part of an ongoing celebration of the ICF Mumbai's Chapter 10-year milestone, this virtual gathering marks the second in our series of monthly engagements, a space for us to reflect, reconnect, and reimagine the heart of our coaching practice. Today, we invite you into a rich exploration of what truly elevates coaching beyond process, the power of care, compassion, and empathy. From our opening keynote on generosity and gratitude in coaching, to a fireside conversation with an award-winning coach, to a deep dive masterclass with two master certified coaches, and a closing reflection that promises to speak straight from the heart. Every session is designed to help us rediscover the human essence of coaching. The event today has been approved for 4 CCEUs. We will post the link during the session for all our participants to submit their details and for us to issue the certificate. Once again, thank you for being here. Let's open ourselves to listen, feel, and to be inspired together. With that short note, I now call upon Sanjeev Bhatia, President of the ICF Mumbai Charter Chapter, for the welcome address. Over to you, Sanjeev.
Thank you, and a very good morning and namaste to a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. On behalf of Mumbai Charter Chapter, I am absolutely delighted to welcome all of you to the special virtual gathering with the theme Beyond 10, Engaging the Heart of Coaching. Let me begin with a question. Are you ready to take your coaching practice or your organization to the next level? And if the answer is yes, you are exactly at the right place and exactly at the right time. Today is more than just a professional development session. It's a celebration of progress, of purpose, and the power of coaching to transform lives. We are honored to be hosting this event as a part of the International Coaching Week, and it made even more special by two important milestones. We are celebrating 10 incredible years of ICF Mumbai Charter Chapter and 30 impactful years of International Coaching Federation globally. What began as a movement has now grown into a worldwide community of change makers, thought leaders, and the heart-centered professionals. And today, you are the part of that global glory and the story. Now, whether you are a seasoned coach or a coach in making, or just an executive curious to know about how coaching can shift the game of your team or the organization, this space is definitely for you. It's a space to learn, reflect, and evaluate. So thank you for investing your time, your presence, and your energy for this collective journey. Let me give you a quick glimpse what even Anne has said. I'm just going to repeat it, what's there in your store, so that your curiosity, your interest, your intent is there. We'll be beginning with a message from Magdalena Mook, the CEO of ICF Global. There's a small message from her. Next, we'll dive into Coaching with Abundance with Neelman Singh, who is present, and his presence makes us much more special. He's a global group head of learning at Aditya Birla Group. He will illuminate how generosity, gratitude, and giving are not just the values, but powerful driver for effective coaching. Then we have a very truly special treat, a fireside chat with Sanjeeva Singh, an Olympian, an Arjuna awardee, a Dronacharya awardee, and the national archery coach who just retired this year. He'll share insights from the world of high performance, precision, and offering the perspective that resonates deeply with the leadership and the transformation. After that, brace yourself for an immersive masterclass with Sunil Verma, our own master coach, and Vinod Sharma. So these Verma and Sharma's master coach will take us to deep dive into really what it means to engage, empower, and elevate through coaching. This is about going beyond techniques. It's about the heart of transformation. And finally, we'll close with a powerful capstone session straight from the heart with Amrita Singh, a renowned person. Bring your questions, your challenges, because this open question answer session will leave you not only with the answers, but will inspire you with the clarity what you're going to take the next step. So as we begin today's journey, I invite you to be fully present, engage with curiosity, and listen with empathy, and contribute with intent. Let this be more than a session. Let it be a moment of alignment of all of us. Let it be a reminder why we do what we do as coaches, as leaders, and as a catalyst for change. Once again, thank you for being here. Let's celebrate 10 years and honor 30 years of ICF Global and go beyond 10 together. Let's begin now. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjeev, for setting the tone for the day and grounding us in the spirit of the celebration. Nandini, can I request you to please play the message from Magda for the group?
Yes, sir.
Dear colleagues, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, ICF Mumbai. It is such a pleasure and an honor, really, to be joining you at celebrating your 10th year. 10th year. ICF is celebrating 30, as you know. And just by celebration like yours, it is amazing to see how ICF evolved over the years, how we are present now in 159 countries around the globe, how it's possible that we are over 63,000 members strong. It is because of people like yourselves. It is because of the chapters, of a strength of the chapters, and a strength of volunteers who make a choice of devoting their time, their energy, their passion to the profession they love. So as you celebrate the 10th year, and I hear that there are 10 different events over the 10 coming months. What a great idea to celebrate. And as we, as an entire organization, celebrate the 30 years of coaching, ICF being around and coaching be around, I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I had a pleasure and an honor to visiting ICF Mumbai chapter a couple of times and spending some time with you. I'm wishing you all the best for the next coming 10 years and another 10 and then another 10. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.
Wow, what a heartfelt message celebrating the power of all of you as a community at ICF. We now move into our first session, which is Coaching with Abundance, how generosity, giving, and gratitude contribute to great coaching. Hosting this conversation is Dexter Wallace, Director of Community of Practice, and we are delighted to welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Neil Mani Singh, Group Head, Learning, and Head Global Center for Leadership at Aditya Birla Group. Welcome, Neil Mani and Dexter.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Neil, for being with us today. You can see Neil's handsome face out there. He has spent a lot of years in the industry at very senior levels. I have had the pleasure of knowing Neil about 23 years ago when he was with ICICI Bank as Group Chief Manager, Learning and Development. He's moved on quite a bit to a lot of big brands. Stanchart is one of them for almost 6 years. Then with Reliance Industries as Head of Leadership Development. And now with the Aditya Birla Group, where he is Group Head Learning, and he's also the Head of the Global Center for Leadership, which is Gyanodaya. Neil has a lot of experience which he has lived. He has seen a lot happen. He's been able to escort a lot of successful managers and leaders to the top. Uh, as one says, he is like the wind beneath successful people's wings. You don't see him, but you know he is there. And we thought today we should see him and hear from him so that he can be the wind beneath our wings too. Thank you for being with us, Neil. I'm going to hand the session over to you right away.
Hey, Dexter, thank you. And thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, the office bearers and the leaders, and I'm sure very knowledgeable participants. As we start this topic, first of all, sorry about the younger brother photograph. I just decided a few months ago I'll not color my hair. So here is the real one. So, I don't know, Dexter, Sanjeev, why did you think that I should do this topic? It's such a difficult topic. And when you come do a keynote speaking, you need to elevate the conversation. And let me be very honest, coaching from heart, abundance, scarcity are something which all of us swing between, and I do. That imposter syndrome, you keep getting, do I deserve to be being there and thinking that I work from abundance? However, we keep working very hard towards it. I think that is what would have qualified each one of us or me to be here. And that's so assuring. Now, what is coaching? The mindset for coaching, my coaching journey, the ironies of coaching. I keep wondering about these things a lot. Being a coach myself, obviously, each one of us have talent, a lot of talent. But coaching rather stops there. It starts from beyond when we start believing my coachee, if there's a word like that, my coachee, whom I'm coaching, has the talent. And our job is to uncover that talent. If we sit that I have talent, I think we have lost the game of coaching on the go. Yes, there's no harm believing that I have talent, but there's a lot of talent there. There's a lot of talent there, which I need to uncover. And that's the mindset, I suppose, knowingly, unknowingly, coaches come from. And I'll try and connect all that to the topic which we are discussing today. And I said a very difficult topic. Why? I may be able to speak, but if you turn pages about myself, reality, you'll say, hey, come on, Neil, do you practice abundance? Do you practice coaching from heart? Do you practice care, generosity? There comes a question of survival versus abundance. As Yuval Noah Harari, the famous author, says, where survival stops, abundance starts. Survival is our first dharma. Any living being, rather I feel even non-being living beings, which is the whole planet, even rocks, hills, ecosystem, ecology, survival is the first dharma. If we are not doing survival, we are not doing our dharma. However, very logically, what will survival do is make you live, make you stay alive. But human being, which is blessed with so many gifts, imagination, free will, values, vision, does a human being wants to only live and stay alive? And that is where the interesting journey starts of abundance, of care, of heart, of gratitude. I do have a few slides, but I may or may not share them. They are more of visuals, but let me see if am able to. Okay. Let me know if you are able to see the slides. Okay. So generosity, giving, gratitude, and transformation, which all of us talk about. What a favorite pets word. And today morning I went for cycling, and where should I go? I said, oh, I have to come back quickly because I have a session to address. I chose the same route because I was very sure I did not want to explore because I had a session. And we talk of transformation. And this is a small example, and we do day in, day out. How much do we want to experiment with our children? How much do we want to experiment with ourselves? Now, I'm talking this from a very interesting space of a 7-year of coaching being experimented at Aditya Birla Group, 500 coaching engagements, and about 300 coaches, 200 plus coaches in Aditya Birla Group. And with the outcomes and the learners there, the authenticity, the becoming part, and the striving part. I come from that space because I don't want to give this keynote speaking from just cerebral, intellectual, and academic space, a bit of practitioner. But yes, you can't talk about abundance without being a little bit talking from your mind. Moving ahead, and my slides are just visuals. The scarcity trap and abundance flow. Now, which is better? This is where I get confused, and I want to confuse you all a bit. I strongly support survival. Anybody who says survival is a foolish method, I feel is, if not fool, but yet wet behind the ears. But if you are working on survival from your default, from your conditioning, from the classical conditioning, the bell goes and there was no meat powder to the dog, yet the salvation was happening. If you're working, salvating on the bell, not the real meat powder, if you've been on a default survival mode and you have had enough, and there's a difference between enough and more. I repeat, there's a difference between enough and more. We all are wanting more, 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 but many of us are questioning about enough. And without that question, if you're still running for survival, I'm not sure if you're helping anybody, helping yourself, or you'll be helping the coaches. Are your coaching questions unrevealing, opening up that your coaches are, and if they are going for survival as a tool, need for the hour, need for the context, your coaching questions should support it. Your coaching should support it. However, the transformation will only happen when your coaching questions are supporting them discover the difference between enough and more, and understanding the value of scarcity and the value of abundance, if not equally, but very logically. Unfortunately, this is a topic which is so deep, and we are talking at corporate sector. Most of us come to corporate sector with wealth creation approach and mindset. And many a times, survival, stature, significance, need for significance, those are the things which have driven us here, which is okay. There's no harm in it. But are we stopping there, or we are going beyond? That's the question I want to leave you all with, the coaches. That's the mindset I want you to introspect. while survival is a tool, abundance is a mindset. The people who should be talking about abundance, the real ones are mostly beyond the corporate, and the personified, I will say, is Dalai Lama for me. For anybody else, it can be anybody. I've not met him, read about him, and read him. Now, the whole, let me talk about, now that I know I'm talking to this gentry and crowd, let me talk about the value creation by each one of the method. If we define wealth and prosperity, which corporate sector and many of our initial life we dedicate to, we sometimes have myopic vision about wealth, which is financial. Now, financial wealth also, I want to ask question. You are working for money, or the money is working for you? Please ponder. Most of us are working for money. We don't make money work for us, first of all. If you read that book, Psychology of Money, you will understand. And you need to question your relationship with money. Like you question your relationship with your any loved ones or any hated ones. I think we should question our relationship with our hated ones more, because hatred is also a relationship which is standing on the head. A very strong relationship, unfortunately. So we should question our relationship with money. What is it creating that relationship? Fine. So I see the 5 components of wealth. Second, and which is the most missed upon and most valuable, which is time. Now, 1 million seconds will make few hours. And if you take 1 billion seconds, it makes about 30 plus years. You can be billionaire, but you cannot be multi-billionaire on time. You can only have couple of billion seconds, or if you're very lucky, few billion seconds on time. And many of us don't bother about it. Did I use this time to smile or stop and see the sun pouring between the leaves? Did I stop by and spend more time taking my granddaughter up, or hearing the story or telling a story to my child? Those are very valuable things. And many of us are short of this resource, which is time. And third one is relationship. What is the joy of time and money, or anything which you have, or big mansion you have and you live alone there, or a holiday you go and you don't have anybody loved ones to go with? So you understand relationship. And third is the mental, the mental joy, mental happiness, and it all starts from curiosity, the state of mind we are in. And then the last one is the health. So I don't think I need to talk about health anymore. There's so much been talked about health. Penny drops when you are in 50s. As for me, it dropped about 10 years ago. And I realized what alcohol and indulgence and sweets can do to me. And if only it could drop early, because we know that the calcium in the vessels are getting built even 6 years onwards. What you call finally blockage was happening many years onwards, or the autoimmune diseases or the joint pains had started many years back. So as Clayton Christensen says, the famous Harvard professor, that we sell time and talent in corporate sector, not realizing that the mental, social, and health aspect are also very important. Now, why I'm talking this? If we are coaching around making my coaches successful, we usually coach, and we, first of all, as coaches, are we coming from the mindset which we are bringing? And do we work on ourselves?
कॉफी दे देंगे कॉफी
Right, that's a good idea. So now, where are we coming from? We usually willy-nilly end up creating financial results for ourselves and many others. And if you go a little beyond, we create stature, we create significance, all the things of ego. We create that. Abundance is an oxymoron. And corporate sector abundance, I say, altruistic selfishness. You know, oxymoron, altruism and selfishness going together. That's the place abundance comes from. If you have a selfish desire to make this planet better, or scale it down, make my organization better, or scale it down, make my family better, or scale it down, make my life better, all of them are altruism. And it comes from selfishness of practicing. A lot has been given or written on giving, including best of the author by this title, the book. Once, and all of us get these stages in life. Once I have worked for now 25 years, reaching 30. In my early days, I was not very happy, frustrated, all of us get. And I called my mother, God bless her, who's no more. And I said, Mommy, I'm going to resign. And sorry, I'll break into colloquial Hindi and I'll translate it if for people who don't understand. I said, "Main resign kar raha hu. I don't want to do this work." The patient lady, he said, "हाँ, आ जाओ. अपना घर है ना, problem क्या है?" She says, "Come over. We have our own house. Come, stay with us. We'll live together. What's the problem?" Then I said, "You know, Mom, I have 2 children now. And I have 2 sons. They are 25 and 22. And at that time, they were about 5-7 years, the elder one, and the younger one, 3 years, less than that. I said, I have 2 sons. What do I do with them?" She said, "How much they eat? 2 liters of milk, maybe some food. Don't worry, I'll provide. Come." And it's square down to that. And she said, a very wise lady, she said, "Rest is a web which you are creating. And there's no end to that web, my son." And the penny dropped. Obviously, with that wisdom, all the problem with the manager and the systems were resolved because the problem was not their problem was here. And one could work with, and one is still working. So, you know, from where the mindset of abundance comes. And as coaches, we have responsibility first to stay with ourselves in that zone and space. And if you go through all the competencies of ICF, look them hard. All of them are coming from this selfish altruism or altruistically selfish. Look at them hard. I'm happy to sit with any one of you. So, interestingly, abundance gets abundance. Scarcity gets scarcity, which is anxiety. Scarcity gets anxiety, or anxiety. We feel, and anxiety is a beautiful thing. As we say, eustress and distress. On the parabola, if you're on this side, you're on the eustress, and if you're on that side, you're on distress. And hence, stress is spice of life. Anxiety is a good thing if it is solving a problem. But if you're living in anxiety, God bless you. God bless you. Many times I sometimes feel when I talk about abundance, it's like Panditji telling you that do this spiritual, or a priest telling you do this spiritual practice or ritual and you will get more. So what a beautiful thing, spirituality. But what is being used for? More. What a beautiful thing, abundance. What am I lecturing for? You'll get more. So I sometimes feel like that priest, unfortunately. But how are you going to take it is your choice. Coaching from heart is very interestingly. If scarcity is coming from greed space, I know all of us know it's no brainer. It's a challenge. It requires reflection. If scarcity is coming from a tool space, we are using it as a tool, or anxiety we are using as a tool, very good. Kudos. Please go. The idea is awareness. Idea is, are you coming from autopilot, classical conditioning, or coming from free will? And that's what we want our coaches to evoke in our coachees. And we know that's the heart of coaching practice. I'm sure I'm not saying anything new. Many of you are senior coaches, certified for sure. When you open a school, you close a jail. Now, that's a very distant relationship. And it all depends on the breadth of your personality and breadth of your practice. Are you able to cover that distance? And hence, I say, where are you coming from, coaches? If you're coming from today and here now, fine, that's a good thing to do. I've got nothing against it. But please don't live your life just today and now. I'm not saying the mindfulness here and now. That's a beautiful thing to be living in. Can you work from the space when you open a school, you close a jail? When you do abundance-based coaching, you create real prosperity. And somewhere you have added one drop to this planet being better. We as human beings, we have made the planet so bad, so worse that we feel guilty for our children. But that was maybe the need of hour. But can we now understand? Same thing goes for coaching. There's a book called Immunity to Change. Many of you would be using it. It's a beautiful concept to use in coaching. And that's Bob Keegan. And Ron Heifetz, the Harvard professor on adaptive leadership, the book by that title. I strongly recommend these books and many more. But if you use those principles, we only realize that as coaches, we have to keep egging ourselves to move ahead and egging our coaches to move ahead. And what the column 1 and 2 of Immunity to Change things, which is obvious that, you know what, I used it about 7 or 10 years ago. I was about 15, 18 kgs more than what I am. And the penny had dropped, as I said, 7, 10 years ago, only to realize that my children are becoming interesting people. First of all, are you able to see your children as adult and people, or you still see them as, you own them. And the conversations they did, it made me realize they're interesting people. And I want to spend more time with them. But the way I was going, and I lost my mother from heart attack. My father had all the genetic, like diabetes. Mother had blood pressure. So I knew that, any intelligent guy, that when you hit 60, I'll have all this. And that's where I said I want to lose about 10, 12 or 15 kgs. But it was very difficult. I was in love with sweets. I was loving drinks. And this concept helped me realize that I'm not in love with sweets or drink. I'm in love with good company and good times. The sweet reminds me the celebration, the whole family. We are 8 brothers and sisters. A kg of jalebi, when it comes, the whole family comes together and there is an occasion. There's an unconditional, unconscious conditioning around that. So the idea was, how do I enjoy good moments, but with something else? How do I enjoy good company, but with something else, not drinks? And there's so many in the nature and world. A morning breakfast meeting is beautiful. A conversation on a walk is great. If a little more leisure, going to the nature together. And I found alternatives. And the world is so abundant. Coaches, are you helping your coaches break those auto connects? What each of our coaches are wanting, for that matter, there's a genius billionaire who, and we know many of them, who have given 75% of their wealth to charity. And I worked in some of those organizations. And I know my friends who worked into some of those organizations, when they were reviewing, and in the lobby, when people were waiting for the review, I know of incidences people have collapsed and 911 has been dialed and the people sent safely to right safe place where the person will not die. But the review meeting continued. And they have made billions. And after making billions, not 1, 2, 3, some 100 billions. And it goes to charity, 75% of it or 90% of it. So sometimes I say, if finally you have to give to charity, why did you not earn it charitably? And that's a question I'm asking to you all. And I want you all to ask your coaches. Finally, when we have a lot of wealth, all the 5 which I said have, what we do is we give. What is the joy of wealth if you cannot give? And if you're finally going to give, why not live your life in a giving manner? But there's so many phases of life. In the initial phase of life where you are struggling from identity versus despair, you need significance. You need designations. You need numbers on your account, more zeros, which is fine. But can we get beyond that? Do we need to be infantile, teenager, or young adults, even with gray hairs? Even if you use L'Oreal's, which I used to, and I'm now weaning off, the hairs are gray and age is there. So abundance has its own flaw. It creates complacency. It creates lacks. It creates it's okay mentality. Abundance has its own flaws. And we need to be very careful about that also. So as I said, my slides were more pictures, but now that My team helped me make it. I think I'll show them. And then after that, I'm happy to talk with you all if there's any question, answer. We'll be happy to do that. And let me tell you, you guys gave me a very difficult topic. It will make me reflect and be careful a little bit more about myself. But thanks for doing that. So empathy versus efficiency. It's so intuitive, you know. We live in a world of efficiency. Try to steal some empathy there. We live in the world of the right side, which is speed. Try to create some space there. And help your coaches do that. Generosity, giving, gratitude. My wife, every time we'll go on holiday, the first thing she's hunting when she sees a beautiful garden is the mali. And bhaiya, ye paudha milega kya? I say, in the nursery, you will get for 100 rupees, 200 rupees, or 500 or 1,000 rupees. Why the hell? He said, Neil, you don't know. When you see the plant in the context and blooming and beautiful, you get imaginations and idea. Are you creating those? The holistic growth. There are a lot of studies I can quote about Harvard's Corporate Executive Board, MIT, and I don't need to quote. Just go to any generative AI, Grok or ChatGPT, or just prompt it, and it'll tell you so many. And I'm so afraid in the world of generative AI, are we going to use AI as thinking partner, or are we going to use it master? AI is a beautiful thing. It helps you partner with the whole internet as thinking partner. What is on the right side? The beautiful pause button. 3 seconds is also good. And we as coaches, we have been taught to stay silent when there's a pause. And what powerful benefit pause has is in coaching and is in life. If you create pause between action, which is stimulus and response, every stimulus has a response. Long ago, a renowned physicist said this. Now, between the stimulus and response, if we create that pause, even 3 seconds, the world happens there. The world happens there. The presence, which I mean to say. When I was growing children, connect versus correct, and unfortunately, I realized late, I read a book on coaching method of parenting. It said that only after 10 connects with your child, you earn 1 correct. I repeat, and this is not only for child, this is for any relationship. Only after 10 times you connect with somebody,
तो बोलने का हाँ
somebody is correcting
हमारा
somebody.
घर नहीं है काम के लिए आए हो ना यहाँ पे
Yeah, and that's very important. You need to correct the world, but you deserve to correct the world when you connect with the world. In a physics manner, how can you rotate a nut if the wrench doesn't go and fit of the same size in the right manner? So connect versus correct, hence ask versus tell. I'm telling the same old thing, ask versus tell, in a more innovative manner. Yes. Autonomic nervous system, which has sympathetic and parasympathetic neural system, and the neuropsychology. Autonomic nervous system doesn't differentiate between imagination and reality. If you will imagine a tiger, the same sweating will happen if the real tiger will come. It just depends on the vividness of imagination. Hence, they say meditation and using imagination in meditation is the best way of eroding your classical conditioning and tuning your autonomic nervous system from sympathetic system, which is about cortisol, adrenal, to parasympathetic, which is about rest and digestion, which is dopamine. And we know coaching is nothing if coaching doesn't create digestion. I don't mean only biological digestion, though that's a symbol of good state of mind if your gut is good. But the mental, the emotional digestion, if coaching is not creating, and it will only happen in a dopamine state, which is parasympathetic part of the autonomic nervous system. So I'm going to stop here. And if there's anything I can talk with you all, I'll love.
I think we'll have to book about 1 year with you, Neil, to talk, because you've loaded us with so many gems today. Thank you so much. We are kind of end of the time, but I'd just love to say a few things which you have mentioned about abundance being an oxymoron. This is the first time I've heard that. Altruistic selfishness. This is something I think all of us are going to take away. And you've asked some loaded questions, whether we are going to open a school and close a jail, and where are we coming from, and whether it's today, now, and can we go beyond that? And I think we are, our title of our entire events is Beyond 10. We are celebrating 10 years, but we are actually looking beyond it. So we have some destination in mind, and yes, abundance is a part of that. But as you've also said, there is a value for scarcity and there's a value for abundance, and be careful about, what you're doing in abundance. So I love the fact that you've given us those 5 components of wealth, money, time, relationships, mental frame of mind, and health. I think this is something that we can actually create. We love frameworks, all of us. So this is a framework that we can keep in mind when we are thinking about, wealth creation, the need of significance versus, are you living your life of giving, as you have said, are you living charitably? I love that. If you're going to give charitably, why don't you live charitably? And it's a state of mind, of course. So thank you, Neil. This connect versus correct, that's a great one. I'm glad we picked on you to come and do this, as you keep saying, very difficult topic. You've made life a little more difficult for us in that sense, because you've thrown these challenges out, and I think that's why we are here. So thanks again. God bless you. And this was a wonderful session. Thanks everyone for listening in, on the wonderful comments that have come in the chat box. They're saying Neil kept it conversational and relatable with simple examples, lovely takeaways, and somebody was going gaga over the jalebis, and I think that was our director learning and events, who said his mouth is already watering for those jalebis. Yeah, thanks. You've given us a lot of jalebis. Thank you, Neil. I hope you stay on for some time. I know your time is very valuable, but you're most welcome to stay on for as long as you want today.
Thank you very much. Feel free to key in on the chat. I'll read the chat. I'll be there for some time. And love you people, and make the best out of your life and the profession coaching you are in. You guys are in very good place. May God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
Well, thank you so much, Neil, for the deeply reflective and thought-provoking keynote. And yes, we are also going to move into the mindset of, are we giving enough and more? And therefore, we move to our second session, which is a fireside chat. This promises to inspire you from a very different arena, the world of sports. Let's explore what coaching the mind and the spirit truly means when the stakes are high and the focus is everything. Join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeeva Singh, Archery National Award winning coach, in conversation with Sanjeev Bhatia, President, ICF Mumbai Chapter.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Are you there?
Yeah, hi. Welcome and good
Hi.
morning, everybody.
Good morning. It's nice and to have you here, Sanjeev. And a small, very brief introduction for Sanjeeva Singh. Sanjeeva represented India for the first time in archery games at the Olympic in 1988, quite early. The Sanjeeva happens to be the gold medalist from BIT. He's basically an engineer, and he put all his engineering skills and precision at archery. Of course, Sanjeeva has been awarded Arjuna Award by the government here, and later he became the national coach. He retired this year only, and he produced a lot of champions in archery across the globe. And then he has been awarded Dronacharya Award, which is a very rare award in India. Sanjeev, I know him because he belongs to the same city where I was born. He was born, that's Kashi, Varanasi. We worked together at Tata Steel. And from that time, I have seen his journey, the way he's been growing. He served in Tata Steel, he served in Tata Housing, and then he was picked up by the government to be the national coach. I'll not take any more time. It's always a pleasure to interact with him. He's a very open-hearted person, and I'm sure of this. I think Priya is writing welcoming. Yes, Priya, I know that you brought him into an ICF India conclave in your town when it was virtual for ICF Mumbai Charter Chapter. Sanjeev, I'll not take any more time, and I'm just posing the questions which are very simple for you, but for us, there's a lot to learn from that, how you can bring the parallel of archery coaching with precision, performance at the global level, and then to leadership. So let's come to this first question. In archery, you defined a precise target and adjust your aim accordingly. How do this translate to setting clear, measurable goal for executives and their organization?
I think so. A lovely question. And I know, for archers and who are preparing for the Olympics, very important to set their goals. Our goals are not set. Many of you may be wondering, how do we set the goal? But let me tell you, we have a 4-year goal, 8-year goal, and a 12-year goal. For example, currently, when I'm working with my World Archery School at Kanoli, we have done is we have set up 3 tiers. So one is the 28 Olympics. So that is where we have the elite program, which is the top archers who are already national medalists performing. This is proven talent, already performing, and they are in the 28 4 years target. For the 32 Olympics, we have set the 8-year target, which is looking at the intermediate archers, who are the junior archers, preparing them for the 32 Olympics. And then comes the beginner archers, which are the kiddies from 8 to 14 years, whom we are preparing for the 36 Olympics. So just like in any leadership, it's very, very important to have a thing will be setting your vision, mission, and values, defining your goals. Now, our goals, if we draw parallels, is that from 4 years, I come to an annual goal. From the annual goal, I come to a monthly goal. And from the monthly goal, I come to a weekly goal. And from weekly, I come to a daily goal. So it's just like the same philosophy which Japan adopts, daily management philosophy. So we also have a daily plan. We know if we have a target, for example, I'm shooting a 340 score today. The world benchmark is at 350. I have 10 points to cover in the next 4 years, and knowing very well that the world will move from 350 to 355. That is 15 points. So I divide the entire 15 points for my archers and for myself in 4 years. That means it comes down to roughly 3 to 4 points a year. That is divided further into the quarterly assessment that comes to 1 point. And therefore, we see now that I have a 1 point, I am at 340. That means my target for this month will be to touch this quarter. I have to go to 341 and then to 342, 43, and 44. So knowing that target, I then work backward as to see how do I look at all the 3 aspects of the body. That is, we are looking at our structure, our physical, and our mental. Now, in similar way, if you look at parlance we draw to a coaching executive, you need to ensure that what are the targets for the organization with the leader or the head set. How are the targets drawn down to a daily management level, to a weekly level? Because very, very important for you is to ensure that are you getting a feedback. The feedback comes from the review mechanism. And that is what we set up. Every week I have a scoring. Every Monday I have a scoring. That means 1 week I practice. I score to see, am I consistent at 340 or 341? If I'm not consistent at 341, similarly, if a boiler is performing or turbine is performing, if they're not consistent in the performance, then only you increase the pressure, you increase the efficiency, increase the output. So what is important is, how are you trying to ensure that, one, you are setting the goals, how are you reviewing the goals, and then ensuring that midterm corrections are made to adjust based on the other dynamic situation which is happening in the organization.
Lovely. So I think for the coaches, it's all about changing the mindset, is all about bringing the small bit by bit, piece by piece, the habit change. And most probably you are breaking it down on a daily process. Great. The next question is about I know about archery a bit, not much. As a layman, I'm talking about. Like proper body alignment and the postures are critical for the consistency shot, and that's what you said it just now about. So what are the posture and alignment equivalent in leadership, the mindset, habits, or the organizational structure? And how do you coach executives to maintain those so-called postures and alignment?
So, for an archer to shoot at the Olympics or win a medal, it's very, this posture and alignment is very much, because, it's all about sports science. It's all about biomechanics. So unless my entire structure is aligned, my forces are aligned, I'll not be able to shoot a perfect shot. Now, coming to an organization or to a leader, this relates to his mental posture. So what is happening here is that in leadership, what is your mental and emotional state which leaders have to maintain, which ensure that they can lead effectively? So for them, they have to be, whether they are open-minded, emotional intelligence, self-awareness, ability to manage stress and challenges. That is the mental posture a leader has to have. Similarly, if you look at the alignment, alignment is all about, when we are looking at alignment is all about the forces, the biomechanics, and the shot. In organization, as a leader, you need to look at alignment in terms of how do you, the clarity and the unity of purpose across the organization. So when you are setting your vision and mission, is everybody understanding the same? Right down to the shop floor level. So how are you aligning the entire organization? So one is the mental posture when we are talking about your mental, the clarity of thought, the open communications, which you are doing as far as the mental posture is concerned. How are you able to take the stress and challenges in peak pressure situation? And in alignment, we're looking at how are you trying to organize the entire, along the vision, mission, and value system, so that everybody understand and they all are looking at the long-term goal, the bigger picture, rather than the short-term goals.
How do you bring this analogy in a relationship with the one-to-one coaching with the coach and the coachee, or to say client in our parlance?
So that is what I'm saying. So therefore, here what you need to see, you need to ensure that whether the coach, how does the coach come to know whether the entire organization is aligned? That is only once he goes for the what we call is walk the talk. Walk the talk means going on the shop floor, going and meeting your customers, going and meeting your peers, going and meeting your employees. The moment you start getting the feedback when you are going on the shop floor visits, when you're going on a weekly visit or meeting your customers, you need to prioritize your time to meet your stakeholders, because they are the biggest persons to give you the feedback. That feedback will tell you whether the entire organization is getting aligned or not. For example, if you go to somebody's place and you come to know that I suppose you are the Volta's head, and you go to a place, a Fed place, and you found that he's using a Volta's and he's complaining about a service which is happening. Now that's a straightaway feedback going that while you are saying that our customer service should be excellent, but at the shop floor or at the ground, when you go to the market, you find that people are complaining. That means there's a misalignment between your service rules which you have set up and somewhere the contract, because they are finally going to a contractor. The contractor is putting a service technician, so they are not aligned. So your organization may be aligned, but the organization in which you are contracting with, where your other technicians are there, are they getting trained? Are they getting ensured? Are they having these sessions where people are making them aligned to the bigger goal of this bigger organization? So the question is, how do you ensure that this alignment happens? And that is what we talk about. Our alignment is, if my forces are not acting in the same direction, I can never hit a 10. Your alignment is what you say at the vision mission. If that doesn't reach the last person who is delivering, the marketing guy, the service guy, if that is not able to deliver as per your expectations, you are misaligned, and therefore you will not hit the target. Your markets will dip, your profit will dip. So the question is how you, and now in this situation, what is important for the leader is, as far as the posture is concerned, how does he maintain his mental equilibrium in terms of empathy, in terms of active listening, in terms of feedback, in terms of reviewing his targets, in terms of midterm target alignment, in terms of what are the policies happening across the globe and how the government of India is responding and what are the changes going to come, so that you are also mentally aligning yourself to ensure that your corrections happen, and that correction is down the line. If it is only happening at the top and you tell your leaders or the divisional manager, then therefore that does not percolate again down, again you are misaligned. The question is, this alignment is a beautiful thing, Sanjeev, and I think so. This is the real thing which can actually galvanize the entire organization in making, and this is where the coaching comes in. How do you ensure that the leaders whom you coach, how are they getting the feedback? How are they doing the midterm correction? How are they aligning themselves? And in pressure situation, how do they take it upon themselves that somewhere they have also gone wrong? It's not always the leader is right. So that is also very, very important in terms of your mental positioning and alignment.
Love this. Just love the answer. So Sanjeeva, I have seen you practicing. I have seen many of the other archers, and definitely what is really inspiring for me is about the archer, the way they use the breathing technique to calm the mind, and for having the steady shot, and which definitely the stress management or the mindfulness practice borrowed from the archery can help the executives to maintain their focus during the high pressure meetings.
I think it's a wonderful question, Sanjeev, and I think so. This is right from the heart, and because when we are playing in the Olympics, it's a very, very high pressure situation because the entire world is watching. You know why Indians fail? We fail only because of that. When we are participating in World Championship, Asian Championship, there's no crowd, there's no media, there's no president, there's no prime minister, the world is not glorifying the thing, and therefore we are able to win. But the moment the pressure situation comes, that is where we tend, because then we get awed by the situation. And then we are not mentally focusing. And that is where breathing helps in. Breathing is a beautiful technique. What we call is a diagram breathing. So it could be a 4-4-8. So what we do is we do a 4 times inhaling, 4 times holding, and 8 times slowly breathe out. See, this is very, very important. In pressure situation, you will be the executives will be facing pressure situations where that is the time they need to pause. And the best way to pause is take a breath, take a small breath, and slowly exhale out. That exhaling out slowly is very, very important, and that too from the navel. If you do that, you'll suddenly find your emotions your heartbeat coming down. When we train for competition, I put a heart rate monitor on the body, and I have my iPad where I continuously watch when he's shooting competition, when there's a stretchful, when it's a tie, and that is the pressure situation when both are tied. One arrow, that's the dead. That either you're out of the game or you're in the game. That decides the Olympic medal. Now, what happens during? That is the time that when you are tied, are you focusing back on your technique, on the process? So if a coach is trying to train a leader to ensure that he is maintaining his calm during this stressful situation, that can only happen if he's taking pauses, if he's taking break. Before he's reacting to a situation, does he take a pause, reflect back on the thing, and then only goes for it? So if he does that, he'll be in a much better situation to take care of the situation itself, and also to handle, and whatever he's saying, he's focused and then he's saying something. So that's very, very important. Similarly, mindful pause also becomes very important because, at times we need to simulate such a situation. As a coach, when you are training a leader, as I train leaders, what I do is I have continuous competitions. Every day we are having morning team event, then individual, then again evening morning team event. I'm setting targets for them. Okay, you got to shoot at 10. It's a tie. You imagine as if you are in a tie situation with a tie, and then you go and shoot. So what is happening? I'm simulating the situation. As a coach, are you simulating the situation for the leader whom you're coaching on every aspect? It could be a labor situation. It could be a market situation. It could be a home situation. It could be a leadership situation. So you need to see under different situational aspects, are you creating a situation and then observing how your leaders are reacting to it and then correcting them. But no, your reaction was not proper. Either you did not think through and you just said because of the heat of the moment. No, you can't do that. You have to take a pause. You have to listen. Active listening is important. You listen, contemplate, and then react. So it's very, very important. Even in such a situation, it may happen that you may need to take a pause back, get out of the room, talk to the expert there as to what to reply. Because many times you may be in a situation which is not because you are not technically sound on that. That technical guy is not with you. You're with the minister. You're with the planning commission. You are with the secretary defense, and you're selling a product. But then he wants something in an urgent situation or something he wants to. Their guy says technically. So are you saying off the cuff, or are you just waiting, pausing, getting out, coming back, and then taking a? So it could be how you create. You may say, I just want to take can I take a 5-minute break? I just need to go and go to the loo, for example. I'm just saying, not exactly, but how do you create situation? So that you get temporary time to quickly assess your thoughts, to quickly talk to the experts, come back, and then react. So these are very, very important. The simulation is very important. As a coach, simulate the condition. That is what happens. That breathing is all about simulation. How do you simulate in training? If you don't simulate under training, I can't expect you to perform under competition.
Loved it.
And it says 10,000 hours of training. It's not 1 or 5. You have to continuously be training.
Loved it. I think in coaching, we have been trained on how to start with the grounding, the breathing, and then we have been told how to bring the silence. And then, simulation, what you talked about, the visualization. Very well connected in line. Thank you very much. So I've also heard about, it's all about practicing, developing a reliable shooting from rallies of thousands of repetition. So what muscle memories, the routine, rituals, or decision-making frameworks do you instill in leaders to ensure consistent performance? I mean, see, when I'm talking about in the coach, how they can bring this kind of practice. And for the client, for the leaders,
मला
maybe
तिकडे
their
तुझ्याकडे मला टेन्शन
audience.
आलं.
I think so. Lovely question, Sanjeev. And I think so. All of us face this high pressure situation. But what is important is during high pressure situation, when we are training for the Olympics, for example, are we there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So while we are training for them, what we do is we are doing simulation, the self-awareness exercises, which we talk about is subconscious training. Now, what is subconscious training? Subconscious training is 10,000 hours of training when you are physically present in the ground and training, but you are training your mind. So once you train your mind, what happens is over a period of time, that becomes into the muscle memory. And when it comes into the muscle memory, after 10,000 hours training, it comes into the subconscious mind. So actually, when you create world records, you're actually subconsciously performing. And that you're not trying to create a record. You are actually subconsciously doing because you have trained yourself in a way that day everything happens flawlessly. Now, what happens to a leader? A leader has to have his own routine to ensure that he also behaves in a similar way. For example, it could be the OODA loop, for example, observe, orient, decide, and act, a 5-way technique, which you talk about, the 5 whys. So whenever he's judging a situation, whenever he's asking questions, whenever people are presenting, does he, as a muscle memory, as a system, he's asking those 5 whys to ensure that the root cause analysis takes place? Is he looking at the observation, orientation, deciding, and then acting? So if he develops a routine in himself, which helps him that every time he goes for a review, every time he goes, so therefore he asks those repetitive questions, which ensures that the root cause are defined. So that is what happens. So therefore he's training his mind. So any situation, he comes with the 5 by the any situation, he knows he first will look at the way, and these are various things by Japanese have really mastered this art. So they have this in the entire scene. So the moment we also apply and take this technique, that becomes the other important part is that are you gathering the information? So what happens in a muscle memory situation? What we are gathering the information by continuous shooting arrows in windy condition, non-windy condition, cold condition, hot condition. So similarly, while you are looking at a target, how are you ensuring that when you are setting target, when you are reviewing target, are you looking at all the aspects? Do you have somewhere where the blind spots, who is able to give you the blind spots? So if as a process you ensure that you are doing a blind spotting to ensure that something which you are not able to see, you are able to see through the eyes of the other team members. Similarly, you are looking at those 5 whys which you are putting up, or the OODA loop which you are trying to build up. So you need to ensure how you're building a sequence of mental routine checklist so that it always keep you abreast of a situation, and then you are able to act, and then you are able to give a decision.
Great. Now let's change the gear now. And I'm sure you must have also maybe coming across many a times that as a coach, we always face this, that when a single bad shot can rattle an archer's confidence. So how do you coach leaders to recover from the setbacks, missed targets, failed projects, or a sustained long-term resilience, which is very important at times when the clients comes to us and talk about this?
So one thing which is very, very important, for an archer, what happens is we are taking decisions in a second. You cannot wait. You cannot wait for somebody to tell you your heart rate is going up. You have to develop over a period of time the inherent, what we call is inherent feeling. Best thing is how do your senses are so strong that they can understand the simulation. They can understand the environment which is going around. So therefore, just like us, we know how the wind is blowing, what is the hot temperature condition, and therefore where the arrow will land, because we have trained under those situations. And therefore we take quick decisions what to be done in such a situation. Similarly, for a leader, you have to coach him to ensure that does he have a real-time dashboard, which is always reflecting. If you go to a war room, you have a big TV which is continuously giving you feedback. When you go to a solar system, where you go to a rocketry science department, you see which is completely. So your dashboard is your real-time signal system, which is giving you instant feedback. How the markets are changing, how the sales are happening, what is the manufacturing happening, what is the logistics happening. So have you created your real-time dashboard? If your real-time dashboard has to be comprehensive, that is very, very important. If you forget the market inside or the financial inside and you're only looking at the production, that is not a real-time dashboard. A dashboard has to be which is giving you all the time, and this could be something which on your phone, mobile. Today with the digital technology, it's always on your mobile. So you are constantly watching, because that is helping you to make correction. For example, something is going wrong. There's something which has come up in south, but your east, west, north are performing better. How can you quickly change from south? Can I shift something of my production or my the deliveries to the south or the north and east, which is doing well, and therefore compensate that market there? But that can only happen if you're constantly looking at your real-time dashboard and ensuring that so therefore that getting actionable insights are very, very important. How you're creating your team. So one is the dashboard, which is giving you a digital feedback. The other is your team, which is giving you a constant feedback. So how your team, which you have placed at various places, how real-time feedback is coming from them, which is also helping you. Because sometimes the real-time feedback takes into account certain emotional things which matrix cannot display. So you need to be aware of why this happened. Because that is because of a labor issue which came up. Because labor issue came up because of something which happened in the political way. So that is something which can be given only by So one is your real-time dashboard. The other is the team which is giving you the actionable feedback. Both of them help you to create and judge a situation and therefore improve.
So I would like to hear one of the anecdotes, a real life example as a coach, or you being the coach, where somebody, one of the player, it's of course a marble player, who had a setback. How could you handle his emotions? How could you develop that kind of confidence back to that person?
See, there are two ways we do that. What one we do is we take him back to the ground situation. So when a person has not performed in this thing, so there are two ways we look at. One is while he's performing in a national where he's got a setback, we have cameras. Now we have real-time cameras which capture his entire shooting. So my team, what does is we take the camera, we picture his entire shooting. We are watching him, not where the arrows are landing. Please understand, there's a big difference. We are watching the leader performing. We are not watching the action which may emanate out of that and what is the fallout of that. That is secondary. That is will depend. The fallout depends on how the leader behaves during that situation. You as a coach has to be looking at that leader to see how his emotional, his mental resilience is acting when he's under that situation. Now what we do is, one, we have fallen a setback, he has missed his target, he made a mistake, and therefore we bring him back and again simulate the situation on the ground. And then we are again with the camera because we have captured his video. We show him his video. You see, this is where you went wrong. Your pressure when you are releasing, your hands moved. You did not realize it because your focus was on the fallout, that means shooting a 10 rather than on the technique that was not there, and this is seen in the video, and therefore you need to go back to your process, not going on to. So therefore getting them people go back on the process, because ultimately a deviation in the process only results into a deviation in a fallout or a failure. So somewhere the process has gone wrong. So if you are capturing the process properly, so that is what we do. We capture the process of the setback and a failure. We bring him back. And then along with the team, it is not me alone. I have a psychologist, I have a nutritionist, I have a strength and conditioning expert, I have a physiologist, all of us working together to show, see, we have, these are the things to act. Because you can say one thing, but the team says it looks holistically. So work as a team.
So it's
When you
all
give
about the process, not the end results.
Exactly.
Love that. So you being the coach, the trust between an archer and his coach is definitely the fundamental of the trust. So what parallels exist in building the rapport and the credibility when coaching CEOs or the senior teams, and how do you foster it?
See, what is one thing which is very, very important is the trust comes from the building a system that allows timely insights and adjustment. You have to be constantly on the lookout for real-time information, because you have to be prepared. The buck ends at you as a leader. So what happens? You have to take a decision, but the decision has to be based on a system, based on data. So it is not on gut feeling. Remember, the more and more you are fact-based, the more and more you are data-oriented, the more and more you're based on market information, you will never go wrong. Then the trust remains, because then when you take a decision, that decision based on fact, based on data, based on market survey, based on, then you don't go wrong, and then the trust continues. That the team knows that once you go to him, he will tell you where you went wrong, because he is looking holistically. So it's important that the trust comes when you look at, suppose when we are training a guy and we find that he has some problem and he's not able to concentrate today. But when we go back and talk to him with my psychologist, what happened, what wrong, you find that something happened in the morning. He got a home may something happened because of his wife fell sick or the child did not do well. And that was bothering him. And that is ultimately resulting into a performance. So you have to go back and find out. Your feedback mechanism should give you that insight, what exactly is happening. So trust comes when your decisions are fact-based, they are based on data, and they are based on, so it's very, very important, therefore, for you to look at, review situations, review the market, and then take corrective action and have a 360-degree feedback with the peers, blind spotting, so that you don't just go by one person's feedback. So it's very important to take a complete 360-degree feedback to ensure that you have an actionable insight. Your insight are actionable, data-driven, fact-driven, so that then it helps the person to understand, and therefore they are more positive, and you'll never go wrong.
So what is your take on this trust with the matured archers versus the youngsters?
See, what happens is the matured archers, youngsters are now, actually there's a little change which has happened in the entire sporting industry. The mature archers, now this is something I'm talking you very, this thing that in mature archers, they sometimes think that they are semi-god because they have won the World Cup. They think that, okay, I've won the World Cup, I can win the Olympic. No. Just because you have won a World Cup doesn't mean you're going to win the Olympic. Because the moment your mind starts blockage comes, your mind starts accepting that I am the best. That is where the failure starts. When you are coaching a leader, you have to always tell him that you have to continuously be improving yourself. There's nothing as you are the best. You may be the number one in the market. That doesn't mean you are the number one in the world. And even if you are the number one in the world, you take the example of Sergei Bubka. When he was the number one in the world in pole vault, if he did 5 meters, the next time he said, okay, I'm going to set a 5.1. Then I'm going to do 5.2. So as a leader, even when you are the number one, you have to constantly change the target, your own targets, to ensure that you continuously be the number one. So in the case of all the top, what happens is sometimes ego comes in, sometimes they feel they have achieved and their mind gets blocked. That should not happen. Never ensure that complacency comes in. The moment that complacency factor will come in, your mind gets blocked and you will never be, neither you'll stop trusting the coach. Because now the coach is telling you to improve or telling you what sports science is telling you. He's saying, no, your heart rate is rising. But you say, no, with that heart rate, I can shoot. But you don't realize at that peak moment of the Olympic, your heart rate, which was at 120 in the World Cup, has risen to 140. Now, who can say that? You can feel it. But then you did not believe that coach. And the heart rate further went up. And when the heart rate further went up, there were tremors in the body. You could not shoot a positive shot and you perform. Now, this is what happens. When you are in a tactical situation, a pressure situation, suddenly your anger starts rising. And that time you don't realize that you're not doing fact driven. You are suddenly going to your gut feeling. Suddenly on a certain thing you are responding. So these are very, very vital moments to ensure that how do you simulate situations and make the leader understand that this is how you're going around. These situations are going to come and you will act like this, but you have to restrain yourself.
Lovely. In fact, sorry, please continue.
And that's why the trust will come. And then only the leader will start listening to you.
Excellent. So really, you bring me to other thoughts. In fact, you said partially, but I want much more explanation on that if you can. In the competitive archery pit, you are running against the time, weather, and the crowd, as you earlier said. Now, how do you prepare in the real world the executives to perform under organizations' pressure, like tight deadlines, stakeholder scrutiny, and the crisis scenario, drawing one method from the allied sports like yours into coaching?
See, what we do is we also have pressure. We know the Olympics are coming around the corner. I just have a year to go. We have goals set up. We have a plan for 5 international meets prior to that. What are we doing is we are ensuring that whatever the process which we have defined, what result it gave me in the World Cup 1, and then whether if the result is positive, how it is going to World Cup 2. So what is happening is during your target setting exercises which you are doing over a period of year, when you are making your midterm goals, when you're making your short-term goals, how are you reviewing them? That is very, very important, because based on the review in system, you'll come to know how the mindset is changing, the market scenario is changing, the market dynamics are changing, because suddenly this war came. For example, Pakistan, India. I'm just saying, things may change. Now, this was not planned for. This is a blind spot. So the thing is, quickly you have to take a decision. But then, how do you take a decision? That is very important. That therefore, in your midterm, in your target setting, you have to keep a process, a buffer, where you can realign the targets. If you're not able to realign the targets, then it will not happen. So therefore, they have to be prepared. As a leader, they have to be prepared for setback. They have to be prepared for failure. They have to be prepared. It may happen that my quarter 1 result will not happen. So what? What is the so what? What is the action plan? So do you have the second action plan ready? That if this does not happen, what am I going to do? If my one X product doesn't perform, what am I going to do on the Y product? Or what do you do? So therefore, you need to ensure which of the others. So unless you don't have a plan which has a backup plan ready, taking into account the market contingencies, then you'll not be able to adjust as per the setback and failure. So you have to plan for failure. Now you will say, Sanjeev, how do you plan for failure? You have to understand that when you're going and you're going to fight against the Korea and Korea may lose, you need to know that if Korea is going to, you need that Korea is strong, then I will plan to ensure that I don't fall in the pool of the Korea. So therefore, when I'm playing my matches, I will ensure that I keep winning or I lose sometimes to ensure that I don't fall in the pool of Korea so that I meet him directly in the gold medal match. That is a plan. That is a fallback plan. That is a plan to fail and then to win. Do you do that? That is coaching. That is effective coaching. That is planning in coaching. Now, if you're doing planning in coaching, planning for failures in coaching, planning for setbacks in coaching with a second plan ready, then you'll become an effective coach and then you'll be able to really create leaders who will storm the market.
Beautiful. Lovely. So it just triggered in my mind another question very related to this is that while you definitely adjust the bow tension, which is really a technical tweak that I understand. I may not be right, by the way. But yes, adjusting the bow tension is very important. That's what I heard of. So shifting an executive strategy is really a high-stake change. So how do you decide when to focus on tactical corrections versus broader strategic realignments in your own word of archery, which we can draw the parallels in our own coaching?
So this is the tactical things will come from the short-term alignment. For example, I'm going to go to a tournament which is in a cold condition, the world. So I will say the World Cup 2 is happening in a colder climate, but actually the final Olympics is playing in a warm climate. So my technical correction will be I will not participate in the World Cup 2. I will participate in World Cup 1, 2, 3, where the climate are similar to the Olympics, so that my technical correction is it, because long term, you have to keep the bigger picture in mind. So technical corrections are small time, isolated, which may happen in a particular territory, it may happen in a particular state, but that doesn't reflect your entire country, this thing. So you don't just move out. Suppose you have planning to go all out in the Asia. But then you find that one country is some isolated problems has come. That's a technical correction that I'm getting out of that country for a short time because there's a political upheaval going on. There's no point investing money there. We strengthen the other five the countries which we are targeting. So that's a technical correction. But that doesn't mean in the longer term I'm not going to go back there. I may go back in the longer term when situation further improves and therefore the new regime takes it, or new political situation improves. So that is where you need to look at short-term correction, isolated where is the technical. Long-term correction will be that a total change has happened. The total monetary policy of the country has gone for a change. Now that policy change of monetary policy change will take over 10-year period. That is a long-term correction. Then you may decide, no, I will have to get out of that and therefore move into that country is out. I'm going to this, or this product is out. Because now government has come out with a new licensing policy where the earlier pollution norms have changed. Now I'm getting into a norm which is now the new Euro norms, or the new norms which are coming in because the green thing will be totally different. So that is a long-term technical change, whether short-term. A thing could be short or could be long. So based on that, you will decide what is the short-term and what is the long-term, and then you take a call and then you go ahead with that.
Lovely. Love that. I think I have some couple of more questions, but before that, I would like to give this chance to audience. If you have any question, please put across to him, challenge him, because I find him a very expert coach. Not only that he represented India, but also he's making others to represent India time and again. Yes, please. Sandeep, you have the first question. Others can prepare. Put your thoughts across. You have a chance really to get the best from Sanjeeva Singh. Yes, over to you, Sandeep.
Really a wonderful exposition. Thanks for being with us. A small clarification. In our coaching parlance, we normally would prefer the coach to be absolutely dumb and enable the coachee to evolve and find In sports, because of the time constraint and the targets, you may require an expert's advice more, which then boils down to the telling mode. In case if when that is so, when I was interacting with some players who have been trained by Paddy Upton, and he adopts the technique which is our technique in terms of in the inquiry mode, which becomes far more sustainable. So that's what I wanted your views on.
Yeah. So very good question. Very good question, Sandeep. And let me answer this for all the coaching, all the coaches who are here, who training leaders. You know, this is known as what we talk about is simulating situations. So what you're talking about and what the coach is doing is what we do is that we do for smaller tournaments. So when we are training people, so when we are training on the ground, we are actually the entire team is there. Somebody is monitoring his pressure situation of his feet. Somebody is monitoring his blood pressure. Somebody is monitoring his biomechanics movement. We all are monitoring, and then we are trying to correct him at the training stage so that he performs when he goes to smaller tournament. So therefore, when he goes to a smaller tournament, that is the time we allow him to perform. We do not give any input to him. Why? Because in these smaller tournaments, we want to see what he was doing in practice, what you were doing in simulating condition. Is he able to adopt and perform? So we do a video analysis. We sit back, all the team is watching him perform. And then after he has performed, he has failed or he has won, both the cases, we have a review. In the review, we then show him what were the good things and what were the bad things, what went right, what went wrong, to ensure that he understands so that he doesn't make the same mistake going forward into the next. So we have, when we play from matches to matches, so we don't do it on the field, we do it off the field after he has performed.
May I have a submission here?
Yeah, just, go ahead.
Yeah, only that rather than, rather than telling them what is wrong and right, what in case if you invite them to what has gone wrong? So maybe that is from a coaching perspective within the ICF parlance, may invoke a newer insight and it hits him here and he becomes far more sustainable.
So that is what we do. So what we do is we have the video analysis. So what we do is we do the video analysis, which is giving him a direct input into what we. So when I tell him many times, see, remember one thing: when you're coaching very senior leaders, the leaders who have already performed. They are running CEOs, they are MDs of the company, they could be senior VPs of the company. They have performed, they have done something on their own also, but they want themselves to be better, and hence they are wanting you to help them. Won World Cups, they know what to do. What they want is they want a feedback, actionable feedback. That actionable feedback, which they sometimes, because of pressure situation, are not able to visualize or see that they've made a mistake. So when the video is played back, they see it and they make the correction. They understand. Okay, this is where the coach was telling me, and this is where I moved out of the process. So the idea is not to tell them what is right and wrong. The idea is to tell them areas of improvement. So by saying, when I'm saying right and wrong is for you, but when we are telling them, we are showing areas of improvement. We never talk negative. First thing as a coach, never talk negative. We only talk positive. That means anything which you are talking about has to be, can you improve upon this? Rather than saying you went wrong.
Great.
So therefore, the main thing is looking from the positive aspect of areas of improvement rather than the negative, showing them video clips, showing them heart rate, showing them the simulation. The data or the science or the fact will make them realize where they went wrong and they themselves will improve. That's the impact.
I think it's all about the reflections.
Yeah.
So I think
thank you.
The coaching also does the reflections. Thank you, Sandeep. We have another question coming from Dr. Pramod Solanki. Would you like to ask straight instead of reading the questions?
Yes, Sanjeev, thank you so much. Actually, Mr. Sanjeev Singh has answered part of it, but I still go ahead. Sanjeevaji, it's pure gold listening to a top coach who has actually accomplished improvements on his students or archers. It's very convincing hearing it from you. You have answered part of what I wanted to ask. And we coaches in the corporate sector have to have coaching sessions with people who are already celebrated, in many respects. But, management feels that we should invest and take them to next level, etc. And quite often you find, breaking that initial hump, that do I need coaching? What are you going to tell me? Is something that you have to deal with. Now, like you said, even when somebody has done very well, he is not many a times very keen to, learn more and, do it this way or that way. So how, in terms of any actual instances, how did you handle those initial, moments that mere ko kya zarurat hai, I have done it and I've done it so well. How have you handled that?
See, this happens with us all the time. When we are playing with celebrities, when we are playing with people who have performed at the World Cup, who have won the gold medal, and then you tell them, you have gone, this is the area. So, they feel, I just won the gold, and this coach is coming and telling me, you have got. So, what we do is we wait for the time. Never say when the situation or when the gold medal moments are there, celebrate those moments. Never when a leader is winning, leader has got a 10% market year-on-year improvement, he has shown a profit. It's only a 10%, not 40%. Remember that as a coach. But get him to celebrate with the team. So we allow celebrations to happen when we win the gold. We come back, we celebrate at the home. And then in quieter moments, when we go back to the training, we bring back the fact and let's have a review of what happened. You did wonderfully well. Wonderful moment. But then, can we just go and as a team, can we look at those pictures and see, is there any area for improvement? Because, still the Olympics there and, we need to win. You are shooting 355, but still you are short of 360. So, but, let's see. So then he's more mentally prepared to listen to you.
Yeah.
In the moments of rejoicing, they will not listen to you.
Absolutely.
In the moments of pleasure, they will not listen to you. But when they are calm, they're quiet, they're back to the ground, because ground mein you are the king. He is a student there. So bring him back to a situation where he is indebted to you, because finally you are part of his coaching. You are helping him to succeed. When all the celebrations are over, when the training resumes, that is the time you go back, have a boardroom meeting or the review meeting with the coaches. And you are not talking to him directly. You're saying, let's review of the team situation. Where did we want? So then you're talking to the psychologist. Tell me, what do you say? So you're not indirectly asking him, but you are asking the psychologist, you are asking the biomechanics, you are asking the physiologist, what went wrong with this? Just show me the pattern, how it was happening on the, his pressure pad, how was the left and right pressure happening? How the biomechanics was happening in the draw, was the timing all the same? So when the physiologist or the coach is telling the timing, no sir, it was 9 seconds, it went to 8, and then sometimes one shot also went to a 7, so that is the time you say that 7 actually went into a 9. You shot one arrow into a 7-second, which was not unprepared. You're not unlike you, but in the moment you did it, but that actually resulted into a 9. That 1 point could have further increase the difference between you and the competitor, and therefore chances of your error. So the question is, you have to bring him to a situation where he is more acceptable, and then you create that.
Great. Great answer. Look for the right time.
Yes.
Feedback.
And even there, you begin with acknowledging what he is doing very well. That's another part.
Yes.
And you is saying, acknowledge that you have done wonderful, and then look at, can we do to the next?
Always keep on the strength and the good before you bring in a small. Before you area of improvement, first talk about his strength. So he's more accessible. He's happy. Get him into a happy mode, and then you bring in. This is where we need to.
Great. Thank you. We have
and that also is going to take you to the next level. Remember that. When you even say about those moments, you always say this will only take you from X to Y. Your profit will go from 10 to 15%. So he's more acceptable. He says
Oh.
you have, but then he's more acceptable when you talk about 15 or 20% profit.
Absolutely.
Great.
Wonderful.
Excellent analogy. We have a question from Satyajit. If you're there, Deshpande, I'll just come back to you. We have some questions already here on the screen. So Satyajit Samant, would you like to ask directly or should I? Yeah, please, kindly.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah. Hi, Sajjit. Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, morning. My question which I've written, Sanjeev, is like you are saying the building further people from the gold medalist to further ahead. Okay. However, I'm saying that many people failing due to negative forces, negative beliefs, and as a coach, we are trying to, help them. Correct. And what I realize is there's a lot of external motivation, which tries to push, and we have been trained that way that external motivation is important, and then people do for the external motivation. But how do, as a coach, build an internal motivation if there is no external motivation? Failures are happening and it is demotivating. How do, as a coach, work upon that internal motivation? What should I do as a coach, so that I can, and there's an overconfidence also, okay, because my habits are correct. I've been successful in past like this. So how you as a coach work on their internal motivation? So even if you are not there, still they perform. That's my
See,
question.
one thing which is very, very important for you as a coach to take on a leader is to understand certain facts you have to decide. For example, when we are coaching a player, for him, what are the facts? The facts are that what is his strength level, what is his the mental situation in terms of training, what is his technique level, what is his scores happening when we are going in for. So once he knows, and for example, when we are going for a running in the morning, and I find that he was running 2 kilometers in suppose 4 minutes, for example, and now he's running in 5 minutes. So he knows that means the endurance is lacking. So when you do a VO2 max exercise on the treadmill and you find that his oxygen intake is coming down, if his oxygen intake is coming down, this will reflect in his performance. So what is important as a coach is you have to decide the metrics by which you are going to take the leader. If the metrics could be market oriented, it could be his personal oriented, it could be related to anything which is there. So when we're looking at the dashboard, these metrics will always keep him aware. For example, if you say your blood pressure is between 90 to 100, so he has a Apple iWatch, he knows it's 100. At the moment it is rising, he checks it. So you need to see what happens to your mental system, what happens to your physiology system. So if that is not happening, for example, if he's going for a physical fitness exercise in the morning, and leaders, we do train people that your physical fitness has to be there, and he's not done that day. So obviously he's not in that role. Now that is also going to impact his decision, mind you, because if you are training every day or 3 days a week, you go on a weight training and you have a particular diet, and that day your diet has changed, that day you did not go for your yoga exercises. So this is your mental routine, this is your physical routine, this is your daily routine. Somewhere in the daily routine where the metrics will tell you. See, effective coaching, world-class performance doesn't come overnight. It comes through years of hard work, years of training your body, years of ensuring that you follow a regime. An actress follows a regime. If she has to take 5 times a meal, she knows I'll get overweight. People will not take me. People will not like me if I'm not 36, 26, 30, so whatever you may want to call. So they are very, very clear what they're going to use as a face cream there. So they will not change that. Similarly, as a leader, you have to have a system. That system cannot get changed. A system will ensure consistency, repetitiveness, and that system is not only about fact-making decision or fact-based decision, it's also about your personal routine, mind you.
Great.
Many times we miss out on the personal routine. Do not miss out on the personal routine. Ensure that personal routine also is maintained while he's gathering the data. For example, if he's a habit of 8 o'clock, all the data comes to his on the iPad on a dashboard and he sees through it. Now that day is not seen. You're gone. So somewhere that routine should not change. If I have to look at the matrix, the market scenario, how the things are performing, I will be looking at it. I'll be going through my regime. I'll going through my yoga, my nutrition, my diet. That will keep him perfect and up to train so that he's always on the move.
Great. I think this will inspire all of us to have our own schedule and tight schedule, and we have got 3 minutes more to go. We have got 3 questions. So 1 minute for each question. Over to Mohan Shripat.
Thanks, Sanjeev.
Hi, Mohan.
Sanjeev, this is great. This is a great analogy between the sports coaching to the life to, what we can do as corporate leaders. I think it's a great reflection themes. My question is, I like the strategy of plan for failure, a very powerful. In fact, each of these words became, very, very reflective for me. What is planning and what is a failure? While a rational legal setup in a corporate life is plausible, Sanjeeva, we create some backup plans and stuff like that, and especially in sports. But I'm curious how we can incorporate this in a coaching conversation. How may we plan for a failure, potential failure in the session?
So here what happens, see, when you are doing a session with a leader, and for example, let's take a market situation. We have markets in and around the entire states are there. Some states are performing, some states are not performing. So this is where you need to look at. Whenever you are bringing out a new product may fail. So what is the backup plan for the product? It never happens that all products or all schemes which you bring in the market, whether it's a financial scheme or it's a product, that everything will perform best. No. It will end into somewhere. Somewhere it is because of the mythological reason, somewhere because of the religious reason, that product may fail. So therefore, you need to ensure that under certain situation, what is the next recipe you are having? For example, take the case of McDonald's or take the case of, what do they do? When they come to India, they know India requires, this has never happened, but they're doing it in India. You go all over the world, the McDonald's burger remains the same. But when you come to India, the McDonald's burger is different. So somewhere they realize that they have to adopt to the palate of the Indian, because by taking the same burger there, he may still prefer a vada pav, because he's get that mircha usme milta hai, usko masala bhi milta hai, he feels ki wo 10 rupees mein milta hai, why should I go for burger which is 30 rupees? So somewhere they realize that the people, while they may not be, if you look at the market dynamics, they will say, okay, I'm not going to the base of the pyramid to the 10 rupee guy. I want a 30 rupees guy because I'm looking at the middle level people. But that middle level person also wants a masala burger.
Good.
So therefore, what's your plan you're doing? So your plan has to be made where you are having a backup plan that if A product doesn't work, what is the B product which is going to be there? If A scheme doesn't work, what is the B scheme which is going to come into the market? And you should be quickly able to, if your plan is not ready, by that time one whole quarter will go and then your whole market will slip. So are you ready with your backup plan right in the beginning, in the month of December to March, not in March to April? Because March to April, you have to go for the next year. All things should happen pre-planned. So we plan 3 months in advance, prepare, do the entire testing. Everything is done in that thing so that when we launch on 1st April, the testing and everything is done. Even for the B part, the B plan also.
Good. Thank you for those analogies.
Thanks.
I think time is over. We still have 2 questions. What do you take and how are we doing on that? Can we take it or
We'll
should we?
probably take Deepak's question. He's had his hand raised for some time now.
Okay. So I have one question coming from Gopi Krishna and then Deshpande. One is, I'll read it out on behalf of Gopi Krishna, or if he's here, he can ask directly, but be straight. Maybe you can read your text itself so that it can be shorter.
Yeah, Sanjeev, good morning.
Good
And an example of Team Korea and the draw, which you have given, like say facing Team Korea in the finale, making up our Indian team's mind to face the Korean team in the final. What happens if the draw happens like this? The Korean team we have to face in the middle of in the early stages of the draw. Will it be a negative pressure on the Indian team because we are prepared for the finale, and if it has to face Korean team in the middle of the tournament, will it create any negative pressure? What's your take on it?
See, it all depends on the game to game. In a pool game, for them, if they face, for example, they're facing Germany. India is facing Germany in the first only and loses. they know the other 5 matches they can win and go ahead. But in a situation of the qualification round where you only meet once, you don't have a pool round. I mean, that's the end of the day. So so while you are preparing the team to face Korea, what situation which we create in such a situation is that go back to the drawing board, how we have trained you. We knew that we were going to face Korea in the final, but now we are facing in the quarterfinals. So be it. So the question is, we have already mentally prepared the team. This is what I'm talking about, simulation exercises to your people, that while you're going to face meetings after meeting with different ministries or different planning commission or different, you are prepared with every situation which you're going to face. The situation may come that I meet Korea early on. Situation will come, I meet them in semifinals or in finals. The question is, our team is ready. You are process driven. You're not bothered about whether it's Korea or Germany or Italy whom you're fighting, because for you, what matters is fighting yourself. What is important is, are you winning over yourself? The day you start winning over self, that is the day you start winning over everybody else. But first win over yourself. And that is where you master those 10,000 arrows, therefore you are training yourself that every time I'm fighting Korea, not I'm fighting Korea in the final or I'm fighting. So when we are training, we are having sessions where we have one team which is representing Korea and you are team fighting Korea. And this situation simulation we do quite often so that they are mentally prepared. That at times what we do is, while we say, okay, they are not even shooting, they've already shot all the 3 arrows into a 10. Now you have to shoot the next 3 arrows, beat them. Beautiful. So that is where we create pressure, that you are simulating without Korea not being there, but his targets being there, scores being there, and you are creating that. So therefore, you are mentally prepared. If your leader is mentally prepared to face every situation, he will go and win over the situation and come back victorious.
Excellent.
Thanks,
Excellent.
Excellent.
Over to Deepak Deshpande. That's the last question coming in.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjeev. And Sanjeev, hi, good to see you again. It's really heartening to see the kind of preparation you and the sporting associations have been putting from 4 years, 8 years, 10 years, and so on. I wanted to know, how do you coach coaches on coaching? Because it's a long-term thing.
Yeah. See, this is a very, I think so ICF and all are doing a wonderful job by coaching the coaches, So similarly, it's very important for us to understand, in the sports industry, coaching is very substandard. I'm admitting it myself. When I say substandard, I don't mean substandard in a way that the coaches who are coming into the system are the coaches who are only a state medalist or a national medalist. They're not international medalists. Very few of them are. And we want more of international medalists to come into the coaching system, because they have actually, they have been there, they understood there, they understand the pressure. So what do? Is we try to get the best coaches coming in. We are trying to teach our coaches, because their standards are not very high. To uplift the standard, we are bringing in sports science. We are bringing case studies. We are bringing in situations on the ground where we teach them. You have to be, because when you are training an international player, you are only a national player. He will never listen to you. You have to assume that he will not listen to you. So how do you convince him? The only way to convince him is through fact, through figures, through data, through sports science. So become a sports science expert. So our job is, if I have a substandard coach, I make him a sports science expert, so that therefore he can convince that international player that, okay, sir, this is what your data is saying. When I saw your 6 shots, one was in 9, the other was 8, the other was 7, and 3 were in 8 seconds. That means 2 shots were still due. Now he cannot say no to that. Even if you are your standard of coaching is not, because many times you are meeting with the CEO and you are only a manager in a company, or maybe a general manager in a company. He'll say, yeah, you are a general manager, you never came to a CEO level, and you are trying to coach a CEO. But then you are saying, I'm going by the fact and figures which are surrounding you. This decision which you took, you did not gather the data, what were the new policies which were coming up, and therefore you went wrong. Here, the financial market said that your IRR was low, and then still you went and took this thing, and therefore you went into a negative. So you are going to take out fact and figures from the financial, from the market, from the political situation, and present to him, so that though you may be at a lower level, you're still able to convince him that this is where you are going wrong and this is how you to improve. So that is what we are doing. We are training the coaches through sports science to become more aware through video analysis, through getting the best of the technology in. So that is what I'm doing. And you need to come. I'm actually inviting all of ICFF colleagues who are here. Please do come visit a sports science center. I'm creating a sports science center at my school, which is the first school in the world where a complete human laboratory is getting prepared for training scientifically at a 8-year age. You need to come and see. Then you'll believe that if that can happen at 8 years, then why not? He will definitely become an Olympic champion.
Sure.
Great.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sanjeeva. I think everybody here definitely would have gained a lot. You can go through definitely to the chat. I've been looking at it and the people have all the appreciation. So I definitely feel very proud of bringing you here from the sports, from the corporate, from the coach perspective. You fulfill all the criteria very well. And I'm sure I'm not going to summarize this session. It's been so clear to everyone. There's no point wasting the time. And yes, let the people bask into what they got it. Let them get immersed into that. And thank you from the bottom of our heart, on behalf of ICF Mumbai, our gratitude to you. Thank you very much.
My only request to everybody will be, feel free anytime you want to take any lessons from sports industry. Anytime you can call me. Anytime you can discuss with me, because all of us are here for learning and improving the entire mankind. Thank you.
Yes, I think Sanjeeva, I know him. He's a friend. He's been colleague. He's been a coach. So we have a lot of alignment. But yes, all of you are welcome to visit his facilities. He and his wife, they've been doing a great work for the nation. Thank you very much, Sanjeeva, for coming here. Best wishes to everyone. Over to N. Thank you, Sanjeeva.
Thank you, Sanjeeva and Chris, and thank you, Coach Sanjeeva. I think I'll take the liberty on behalf of all of us here to say that your powerful messages hit bullseye. Great. So with that, thank you so much, sir. Okay, with that, I think we are running slightly behind time, but I think it's a need to take a break. So we'll take a shorter break now. And let's all resume back at 11:45 so that we can continue with this journey of into the heart of coaching. Thank you, guys. See you all back at 11:45.